Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, July 27th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple clarification points. First off, this price you see over here will still be moving around and changing along with the candlestick right there. That's because the market is still open for a small amount of time. And I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, GOVX. Very nice mover today. Talked about this one in yesterday's video. Get that line out of there. But overall, made a great breakout. Although now things are pulling back, so it's a little bit trickier from a presentation standpoint. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of perspective. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that angle, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad. However, assuming you do care about the big picture of things, I understand this has been a pretty big pullback here this afternoon, but when you look at the fact that the price hasn't even approached that area of support, and then you look at these previous areas of support, including down there, then if you envision each one of those as stair steps, from the big picture point of view, what do you still have? Well, you still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So yes, again, if you're a day trader and you bought right there, then yeah, you don't really care about these stair steps. So that's why I'm trying to distinct between somebody that cares about the big picture versus somebody that maybe is a more shorter term trader. So yes, pullback today, but overall, the chart still remains in the bull's favor. Next one, AYLA, and this is a great setup here because there's a very easy line to draw, so I want to be clear. I'm not trying to imply that this is a great discovery. I'm not trying to imply that I have some sort of special talent. I assure you this is a line that a lot of people have drawn, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. And the level here that got to think a lot of people are watching is this area of resistance right up here at $2.25. You can see the course of the day, a whole lot of track record up around that area. So there are no guarantees, but my point here is just, is it plausible? Is it rational to think that if the price can turn around from what's actually kind of a nasty last 30 minutes here, but if the price can turn around, get back up to that level, and then push up through it, could that break create a good solid amount of upside buying pressure and take the momentum to another level? Yeah, that is absolutely not a guarantee, but a valid thought process to have. But as I speak here, I mean, look at this last 30 minutes. This thing's looking pretty rough all of a sudden. And that's why I like to do these videos when the market's still open. But if this pullback does continue in terms of levels of support, key level to watch initially is going to be down there at that $1.50 mark. So keep an eye on $1.50. But overall, good movement today, well-defined areas, and especially if you're somebody who like to play those breakouts, then in my mind, you got a good, we'll call it self-fulfilling prophecy potential area up there around 225. Next, MULN, and rough day here, and some key levels now have formed. First level from a support standpoint, going to be that level right there at 85 cents. Because yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. To think that at one point the price was all the way down here and now it's worked its way up to where it is right there. Still a lot of work that needs to be done. However, it has made a nice bounce, but that does lead to the valid question of, okay, fine, nice bounce, but is there actually any sort of true power behind this bounce? And that's where 85 cents comes into play, assuming we can agree on this logic that if the price were to come down there and then break down through that level, at that point, that would be putting the price right back to where it all started. And again, the logic being price movements with genuine power. So a bounce that's actually strong, price is probably not going to go back to where it started, right? That wouldn't make any sense. But to be fair, no price can go straight up. So maybe the price comes down here, bounces around at 85, and then goes back up. What would you have in this scenario? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there, and if you envision those as stair steps, well, now you'd have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction, and that's what a truly strong move is going to do. Not go straight up, nothing can go straight up, but at least show those signs of progress. So in this situation, the quote-unquote sign of progress, all about can it stay above 85 cents? Let's see what happens. Next, PGY. This will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but for those of you that did, I talked about this red line here, put it in play as a level of resistance, but now that the price is broken above it, this is just a classic example of resistance now be considered an area of support. So like GOVX, a little bit of perspective. If you're a day trader and you bought right there, then yeah, things are looking pretty rough for you as this pullback plays out. And I'm not saying this will occur, but just to illustrate kind of the bigger picture point of view, let's say the price actually does come all the way down to that former breakout point, and that does hold as support before, curling back upwards. What would you have? Again, emphasis on big picture. Well, big picture, you'd have a set of lows there, you'd have those lows, you'd have those lows, you'd have these lows, and if you envision those as stair steps, then you'd still have, big picture-wise, an overall uptrend with those stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So yeah, right now, a bit of a pullback, but overall still plenty of opportunity for the price to ultimately build a higher base. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, keep an eye on that trend line right there. But overall, got to like the momentum, got to like the higher highs and higher lows. So let's see if this momentum can continue over the next couple of days. Next, AMC, and the bleeding continues to put in now lower highs and lower lows. So it's really just a question of, well, where are some areas where this could potentially stop going down? And right now, you can see this level right there at 1385 is doing a good job, just like it did back here. So it did a good job of providing some support right there. You can see this was a former area of resistance. So we have a good example right now of this support turning, or excuse me, of that resistance turning into support both there and both right there. You can see mid-afternoon, the price got down around that area and held. So 1385 going to be definitely the next key level, but in the event the downtrend continues and the price breaks through that level, next key area of support after that would then be down there right around the 1325 mark. So keep a close eye on those. If there are any sort of attempted bounces, then in my mind, the main area of resistance right now going to be that trend line right there, which puts the resistance up there right around $14.60. But yeah, overall, the bears seem to be not only remaining in control, but taking over more and more control. Very quickly, I wanted to take a quick break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering here very soon, just in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen, you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you click to get signed up. So again, like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more, certainly get signed up for the free training. Next one, ticker symbol IMPP, and a very nice pattern here. And there's just the back kind of drop of this, of the history of this one, meaning it can move and move very big. I mean, there have been some very fantastic moves. So does that mean that just because this thing came to life again, that another massive move is going to come? No, of course not. There are no guarantees. But my point here is at least this thing has a track record of showing signs of strength and of going on very big movements. So worth at least keeping an eye on because, like it's a two-sided coin. Maybe this isn't the start of anything big. Maybe this thing just rolls back over. But again, two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is. And this thing all of a sudden skyrockets upwards. And that's the idea of a watch list. Not to randomly rush out and buy something, but to watch it and see how it ultimately behaves and see if it fits into a way that fits your personal trading plan. But let's get some key levels here mapped out as far as the pattern is concerned. So we have our level of resistance. We have our level of support. In fact, let me change that to more so green to represent the support part of the pattern. And we have ourselves a nice little wedge pattern. I suppose if you wanted to do an overall pattern, make it one color: resistance, support, momentum move, golf hole down here, and you could call this a nice bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play penny stocks, if you like to play bull pennant patterns, then I definitely say get this one on your watch list. Next, TSLA Tesla, and a rough day on this one, like a lot of stocks out there. And yeah, it did start to bounce here late day, but kind of the thing that I'm wondering, and I'm somebody that trades Tesla almost on a daily basis, whether that be the stock or the options. But what I'm wondering, and you can take it or leave it, like I said, this is just kind of my thought process, is with this pattern right here that's forming. Yeah, there's a nice bounce. Yeah, this last 30 minutes is looking good, but overall, we have our support, we have our resistance, we have the drop right there, and we'll put the golf hole up here. So we have kind of an upside down pennant, which is known as a bear pennant. Now, just because something's bearish does not mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to keep going down. But my point is, I don't think anybody would be shocked if this thing were to come back down here and break down below and then continue on down. So right around that area, let's call it $770, I think is going to be a very watched level. If this bounce does continue, then the key area of resistance is going to be up there around the 779 mark. But 779 and 770 in my mind, two very, very intriguing levels. And to bring up the slogan again, I think that could contain some self-fulfilling prophecies that go into both of those areas. So I'll be very curious to see how the price behaves if it does reach either of those destinations. Next, SIGA, and a beautiful, beautiful move. Did this analysis yesterday, and good to see that the continuation continued, and want to squeeze things down here to try to give a better idea of just kind of where this thing has been. And you can see after today, there's an old annotation, get that out of there. But after today, this thing has been at highs. I'm not going to say all-time highs, but certainly, because I'm not sure for, I don't know that for sure, but definitely the highest it's been in multiple months here. So overall, a whole lot of great upward momentum. So zoom back in here to show things at a little clearer pace. But in the very near term, good, solid, interesting trend line right into there. So if you're someone that likes to follow trend lines, play trend lines, that seems to be a very worthwhile trend line to get in a place. But I do understand if you just like to play moving averages, then you have a nice upsloping 50 period. You have the continued overall upslope of the pink line there, that 200 period. So just from a trend line or moving average standpoint, I mean, you got a lot of things pointing in the upwards direction, which is always a good sign when you're trying to monitor bullish momentum. And then as far as areas of resistance, nothing fancy or complicated. Literally just a question of, well, where did the party finally stop today? And the party stopped up there at, what was that, $17.85. So $17.85 will be that main level of resistance to watch moving forward. But all in all, like I said, a lot of good things going on, good solid uptrends. And as long as the price does continue to put in those higher lows, then just sit back and let the trend do its thing. Next one, SNDL. Now, very quickly, nobody is rich. I know this thing was just trading for pennies on the dollar, and now it's easy to look and see it up over $2. But they just executed a reverse split, which is not a good thing. And that just is a share structure manipulation. So it's not that anybody got rich. It's just there's now less shares available. But as far as the patterns and all that are concerned, exact same patterns. It's just the share structure is now different, which reflects that in the price. But overall, an absolute just bloodbath today when you stop and think about the fact that it had already been bad. In fact, yesterday, I call this a pump and dump. And I mean, now if you kind of wanted to push back on it, I mean, at this point, I don't know what else you could call it. Because it did make a nice move there. But not only has the price now gone back to where that move started, which is back there, clearly it's just so far down below it. So this was just a nasty, nasty dump. And yeah, the pure speculation on my part on this next comment, but it's looking like management is just selling shares. Like that's their main revenue stream right now, is they just sell shares, because you know that was a whole bunch of dumping that happened today. And, you know, with a reverse split, just get the share price up again so you can keep on selling those shares and drive it back down to being a penny stock. So, but that's what it just seems like here is, and I don't know anything about the business model, but just looking at the technicals, it seems as though the business model is mainly just selling those shares. But overall, brutal move here. But the nice thing about these is these brutal moves can create some very nice dead cat bounces. So if you are somebody that likes to play dead cat bounces, then worth keeping an eye on and, you know, potentially getting some sort of trend line in place. There we go, to keep an eye on things if there is any sort of bigger bounce to the upside. But yeah, right now looking pretty brutal. Next one, CMRA, which is a very, very interesting situation. And as I mentioned earlier, that's the whole idea behind a watch list. Find you those unique, find those interesting situations, and then watch them. But we had basically nothing going on, and then kaboom, everything started to go on. Nice movement to the upside, and within all of that has formed a nice pattern. So we can also bring in the whole idea of the self-fulfilling prophecies. But we have our nice resistance trend line right there. We have what seemingly is a support trend line right there. And just make this a little bit more proportional. There we go. And also got to get that changed to green. Represent support. And then maybe just make this that much easier to see. We have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big surge right there. Let's get our golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. But yeah, bull pennant, if you like to play those on these stocks down below $5. But what makes this one a little bit more kind of spicy is the fact that the majority of this pattern and all this movement happened late day. So clearly some news came out on it. And we'll see if that's the beginning of something much bigger. Like I said earlier, it's a two-sided coin. So maybe this is just just one pop and this thing drifts right back to where it was. But again, two-sided coin. So I don't know, maybe this is the start of something much bigger. So that's certainly an interesting situation and worth throwing out there as a question. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how this one behaves within that bull pennant on Wednesday. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used as a trader to build consistency, then certainly get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be a couple days, Thursday, July 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, then please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment, even if it's just saying hi, tell me what you traded today. Not only does that provide good feedback to me that you are enjoying, but it also helps out with the YouTube algorithm, helps get the channel out there, helps these videos spread better as far as, you know, what YouTube likes to see. So if you can do those two things, it truly does help out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And, you know, little things like that go a long way. So again, get signed up for that free training, hit that like button, leave a simple comment. Everybody, thanks. Take care. Have a good one.